I apologize, everybody, for you guys having to see our mugs right from the beginning. I fucked up. Fucked up. I actually did like a purge of I moved all my like Sammy Thunder video files over to my external hard drive, and I guess that came along with it. And I deleted everything off my computer. So for me to have to go through this whole process of putting the intro on, I'd have to plug my external hard drive in, drag and drop the file, upload it to here. It's a whole process.
Yeah, right. Not
So for,
happening.
so
Not
for
happening this episode.
so for everybody that was here only to hear Rush or Geddy Lee, I apologize. That is not going to happen.
There's a lot of diehards out there like me, Sammy. There's a lot
I know.
of them.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. I fucked up. But next week we'll definitely get this right. And I apologize to our guest because because now he thinks we're probably unprofessional and we're not we don't got our shit together. Fuck.
Yeah, because we're typically top notch on the nose.
Ruben saying the intro was better without Rush.
Whoa, Ruben. Them are fighting words, my friend. Them are fighting words.
But everybody, welcome to episode number 46 of Cardboard and Cold Ones, where we raise our beer and cheers to the legends we admire on the cardboard we collect.
Yes, sir. I'm drinking Michelob Ultra, so real high-end beer.
Well, it's only because you're in Vegas and you don't have access to your inventory of precious beers, PBR, most of the time.
Although I did find a place that sells them for $3 a pop here, so I was pretty excited about that.
That's pretty solid. Of course, this goes without saying, Zadies. And I do want to give a shout out to Mike Good. I can't say this is the beer that he left me, but he gave me another case of Zadies. So I'm literally working on 3 cases of Zadies right now, and it's quite. I appreciate that, Mike, because he said he had some beer for me. I'm like, I wonder what beer that is. It's got to be one brand.
3 cases is ample supply too. That'll hold off for a little.
Oh, hell yeah, man! If I just dedicate Zadies to every one of our live streams, I'll be good for at least 24 per pack, 24 or 48. What is this? 48.
2 a week.
Yeah, I think I can make a year's worth of beer out of Cardboard and Cold Ones.
That's perfect. That is perfect.
Yeah, so. Let's do it. Let's do a roll call, and then we'll bring our special guest in for tonight. As you guys probably tell from the title, you know this guy very well. But let's do a roll call first. Steve with the PH. Hi, Sammy, Jason, Jake. What's up? eBay is here. Couldn't do it without him.
The best.
Peter B is here. What's up, Peter? Keith, Lonely Best of Baseball Cards. He says, "Hey, Steven," but I imagine he really meant to say, "Hey, Sammy."
Yeah, he was saying hi to us.
Yeah. eBay. Orlando is here, the hobby royalty, and so if he's hobby royalty, then I'm the hobby jester.
What does that make me? The piss boy?
Oh, you're like the dungeon boy.
Right, exactly.
Andy Dog at My Card Collector is here. Jim at the bank. What's up, Jim? I like the satchel. Yeah, the satchel page.
Bowman.
Yeah, man. Dave from Peacemakers here. What's up, Dave? Mark Hoyle is here. Glad to have him back.
Yes, sir.
Sven is here. And Ruben again with the intro was better without Rush. I appreciate that. Steven says he's only here for us. Cool. Don from Steven Sports Cards expecting some Shriners. I can't imagine we won't. We'll definitely get into that. We have the right guest for it. Rush is overrated.
Jesus, just stop, Keith.
2-0 Mets after 1. Yes, we want the Mets to keep winning and the Reds and the Diamondbacks to keep losing. But
do they still have a shot?
Oh, the Mets are in right as of right now. They're in the wild card. They have the last wild card spot. The Reds have been losing the past. They lost because Skeens pitched last night, and Skeens had them, all the way through. But excuse me, the Pirates were not hitting as much, but they were able to get. They went into extra innings, but they ultimately won the game.
Okay.
Duck Boy and from PDX, Friends of 3D. Oh, what's up, Duck Boy? Like awesome name.
I was gonna say that's a new one, Duck Boy.
Yeah,
I like Duck Boy.
I haven't seen that before. Ain't the beer cold? This one is. I think because I have 3 cases. Now I have 3 cases. Yours is sitting on the on deck circle, waiting for the other two to clear way. So it's going to get there. Mike's Mr. October and more. What is up, Mike? I'm just trying to catch up. Ken saying, "Sam, you're the best." What does that make Jason then? I mean, come on now.
Second best. I'll
But
take
thank
second.
you, Ken.
I could take it.
Jason, Sammy is the best, and Jason is okay.
Yeah, he's piss boy, dungeon master.
Dungeon master. Dave wants the Reds to win. You know what? The Mets did get in last year, but I'm so selfish. I'm gonna, say, yeah, sorry, Dave. The Reds did win today, so at the very least, if the Mets lose tonight, then the Reds, because of the tiebreaker, the Reds have a better record than the Mets against each other. So I think the Reds get in by default.
Okay.
But still games left. Scott is here. The encyclopedia. Carlisle's there for you. Carlisle's there for you.
Carlisle, you're the
Ken
best.
says you're second best. All right, let's
it.
bring in our guests. It's 6 minutes in. We want to make sure we give them as much time as possible to show cards, talk shop, and so forth. So let's bring them in. Thanks for waiting, Jake. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks. Thank you for having me. That was quite an introduction. It was about over 6 minutes long, but I'm just kidding. No, this is great. If you want me to sing some Rush, I'm happy to. Everyone's
if you sound like Getty, I say go for it, Jake. That's phenomenal.
No, good.
You got to play the synthesizers the same way as he does during Tom Sawyer.
Right.
Can't do that. Can't quite do that. But no, it's great to be here. Thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on tonight. So I guess I'm going to go back to what Dom said because it's the next big card show that's coming up. At least I think it's the next big card show.
For me, it is. Yeah.
I think
isn't there? I think there isn't Chantilly doing one between now and then.
Right.
But that's not. I'm not going to that.
But yeah, let's. Where the hell is his comment? Here we go. Expecting some Shriners talk tonight, boys, because that Dom loves that show. It's he tried to go to Philly, but ultimately just couldn't get it to work out. But Shriners is like a top-notch place, top-notch event. So, what are some of your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean the fall Shriners show, because there's two different promoters that run the shows at different times during the year. The what is called the Greater Boston Sports Collectors Club runs the show in November. It's kind of it was actually run by the club for many years, and then they sold it. It's been taken over by a promoter, but they kept the club branding. So they've been doing the show for almost 40 years at this point. I only really got heavily back into collecting in late 2022 in 2023. That 2023 was the first one that I went to. I talked about it on a couple videos this week. It's kind of like I think of Philly show as being like Shriners on steroids. Like it is a big regional card show that is centered around vintage. There's plenty of modern, there's plenty of like Pokemon stuff, but like the great thing about Shriners is that you get the dealers that only set up once or twice a year, and they come in from far-flung parts of New England, and they have some of the guys have incredible inventory, and it's not just your run-of-the-mill stuff. It's oddball stuff. It's random regional issues. It's stuff that you're not going to see all the time. So it's a great show. It's 3 days this year. It's October 31st. So Halloween is the first day, Friday, and then November 1st, November 2nd. So really now looking forward to it. Yeah.
Mark was asking what day you're going.
I'll be there Friday and Saturday for sure. And maybe Sunday potentially. The great thing about Shriners is that it's only like 15 minutes from my house. So that's the best part. That's the best thing about it.
Sounds similar to Strongsville. Is that fair to say, Sammy? Because they got a lot of local dealers at Strongsville that only set up for Strongsville.
Well, Strongsville is like that has its own identity because of the vintage only ordeal about it. So it's hard. You can't really compare it. Shriners. The way I think about it, and Jake, you can chime in on this as well, or all of you guys can chime in on this. You have overlap of dealers at various shows. There's always overlap. I'll give you a prime example. Someone you're going to see at the Philly show, Chantilly, the Shriner show, White Plains show, is Stan.
Yes.
You'll see Stan. You'll see Ash.
Hmm.
But then there's some dealers that that's like, if there's like a Venn diagram, those guys would be on all four, like in the middle.
Yeah.
But then you have guys like Paul Borges, who you only see, as far as like just the big shows like we're talking about, those 4 examples. Paul, you'll only see at Shriners, and you'll only see him at Philly. You won't see him at White Plains. You won't
No,
see him.
he was at White Plains. He was at White Plains last time. He's not always at
Oh,
White
you're
Plains.
right. He was.
He's not always there.
That was
He
like
was
his
there a lot
first
last time.
time doing
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
generally, that was, I think, his first or second time recently.
Mhm.
But anyway, the point that I'm trying to mention is that Shriners is special because there are, I think about it of like, oh wow, there's a couple of dealers that I see at that show that I don't see anywhere else, like Ed Hans, Matt from Providence.
Mhm.
I saw Matt from Providence once at Philly, and I know he didn't really have the best experience setting up, from what it sounded like.
He shared with another dealer, and I think if he does it again, he'd want to be able to have more space. But I think that's the way, that's any dealer would want to have more space, right? So, but yeah, I think that was he had to share with another dealer last time. I know it's hard to get into Philly show, but he wants to do it again. But
yeah, and so ultimately, my experience from the Shriner show was there was a guy named Dave who sets up there. Dave is the kind of guy, he's like the king of team issued stuff. So like the J Publishing stuff or the team issued stuff. And he has all that cool stuff. And I haven't seen him anywhere else but Shriners. Then there's a guy from like Arizona who sets up. He was set up like right outside the door to the main. You know what I'm talking about, Jake?
Yeah, they have dealers in the front area.
Yeah, I can't remember that dealer's name, but I remember the prices he had on stuff. I ended up buying my Play Ball Mathewson from him.
That's right.
And he had a great array of stuff. And again, that's another guy who I haven't seen, anywhere else. So every show is special when it comes to select dealers.
Mhm.
Not to say not to say Stan or Ash are not, because clearly they're go-to tables. You're always going to go to their table, but it's always nice to kind of see dealers you don't see every time at shows.
Exactly.
So that's my take.
I totally agree. I think it's a great opportunity. There's guys that have, like I said, old guys at the back row. Mark knows. There's like guys that set up, like Howard Chasser's another one that will be at Shriners. I asked him in Philly if he was coming, and he said yes. So it's an amazing selection. And for me, as a guy that collects Boston stuff, it's heaven. It's the best show of the year, 100%, because you get the random, like it'll be an awesome opportunity for me to get oddball, like offbeat, like Yaz, Ted Williams, like things you don't usually really say. Oh yeah, it's so great for everything. And again, like you said, there's the big dealers. There's Ash is there, and he'll have his inventory, and Stan and other folks too. So it is really the best.
It's I think, what is it, in like a giant? Is it in a gymnasium?
It feels, it's an auditorium technically. So it's at a Shriners auditorium. So you see all the guys working the show with wearing their fezzes and stuff like that, and it's awesome. And it obviously they do amazing work for great causes and stuff. So and it's an old school auditorium. It reminds me of like a gym from like the 50s or 60s. It's like Jimmy Chitwood is in there getting up shots, like that kind of thing. And there's like the long banks of fluorescent lights. Like anytime you do like they have rodeo, they have all kinds of stuff. They have the circus there. They have all like throughout the year, all that. And they have like a big, I think there's like a big train show there that they do like a model train convention and stuff like that, like all that stuff. And it's mostly pretty much all in one room. They have some of the bigger vendors like JSA and Beckett, and in the past SGC. They are on the list. I don't have my hopes up necessarily that they're going to actually be there, but they're kind of set up in like the hallway in front, and in the kind of what they call the Fez room, which is the room that's off of the like the ante room that's kind of off of the main floor where there's big tables and stuff like that's where SGC has been in the past. And they're able to it's like I said, it's in terms of the size. Like, I haven't been to Strongsville, so I don't know. I think that in terms of the number of dealers, I think it might be relatively similar. But again, it's a mix of, instead of Strongsville where it's like 98% vintage from what I understand. There's modern, there's Pokemon, but there's not like a ton of it. It is a vintage focused show. So
yeah.
Okay.
So this is a good question from eBay. He was asking, and I think people harp on this sometimes, but do you guys find it's better to buy your teams in the local market, even though prices may be higher, but you get a bigger selection, or better far away from your team's area to get better deals?
I think selection,
Go ahead.
for me, selection is better locally for the White Sox. I think if you're looking for, although they're not really in high demand, it all depends on who it is, right? I mean, Luke Appling's not, he's not Ted Williams, he's not Hank Aaron, but I think if you're looking for the deals outside of your area, you always find them cheaper if you can find them. Like, you go to Strongsville and there's a lot of Cleveland stuff there, for the Cleveland fans. There's a ton of it there. But if you want some of that stuff, I'm willing to bet if you went to the East Coast, or if you even in Chicago, you'd probably find it a little cheaper than you would in the hometown.
So just want to mention that I think when it comes to stars like Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, who else, man? Hank Aaron, Clemente. When you talk about like those guys, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, no matter where you go, those guys are going to command the premium. I mean, I guess it's in some ways, if you go to a New York card show, a Mantle might go for more. To me, they all kind of, because going to so many shows, they all kind of resemble the same price regardless. So,
yeah.
But
what about like Yastrzemski? I would imagine he's more expensive back home than he would be in Chicago.
That's a question for Jake.
Yeah, so I think in general, yes, like that stuff is going to be probably, there's more of a market, so the stuff is more expensive for like the bigger cards, or like the bigger players. I think that I think my thought is that the stuff that is generally speaking easier to find, you can find it at all of the shows. Like, it's like basically any regular issue Yaz card, any regular issue Ted Williams card, any regular issue Jim Rice, like all the way on down Fred Lynn. But where it gets tougher, I feel like, is that other than like a Shriners, it sometimes is hard to find the sort of off-brand stuff, and you have to either really dig for it, or it's or they just don't have it because other people have already picked through it or whatever, that kind of thing. Now, I'll give you an example that at Philly show, I definitely was trying to find some of that kind of stuff that's like not that's like offbeat, and I got very lucky because I dug through a box of sort of random things, and I was like, okay, like this might be my opportunity to find something Yaz related or whatever that I couldn't find other places, and I ended up getting this Dexter Press Yaz. And there's a couple of different ones of these. There's like this, and then there's an all-star one. This is the sort of regular one, and this had I don't know that I've ever really seen one of these at a show around Boston. And this was only this was marked at $20, and I got it for $15. And I don't know that I think I got a good deal on it. I don't think it was like a killer deal or anything like that. But I just don't like, this is not it's going to be like, this is, if somebody gets this in their showcase or in a bin or someplace in Boston, it's going to go in the first 15 to 20 minutes of a show. Right. Whereas this was hidden at the back of a bin at Philly show. Yeah. So I really lucked out on this one. So that's the example to me, is that some of those things are, they will get found, they will get picked off quickly at a show in Boston, and otherwise you can get it. So
yeah, I agree. Cool. That's fair.
But yeah, kind of when I saw that, it reminded me, I'll just kind of quickly show this. It reminded me of the New York Mets picked a photo pack from '69. I'll just quickly show this, because it has a similar. I don't think the Yaz doesn't have his name on the bottom, or the team, right?
No, so the Dexter Press, they issued these, I think all but two. I was doing a little bit of research. I think all but two teams had these. It was, and you could. I think there were somebody in the comments might know. I think these were like a send away. It was like they were produced by this company Dexter Press, but it was like a Coca-Cola send away, I think, and you could get it was just like 12 players from each team. And I think it was like the Cardinals and Angels were the only teams that didn't have them, and then they did an all-star set that Yaz was also in. So like the flip side of that, is that I also one of my there you go, Mark knows all of this stuff.
Right.
I did pick up also the 75 Sox photo pack when I was there. So there you go. So that's like the 75 Yaz, and this was the team issued one. So
they're cool. They're just they're
and that and just sorry Sammy, like just similarly that was like what I was talking about before. Like I don't think you could really find probably not super easy to find a 75 Red Sox photo pack at a show. Like, because if somebody has it, it'll be gone in 10 or 15 minutes.
And that's probably that guy Dave, who I'm thinking of, would probably have something like that. You know what I'm talking about? He was actually.
I don't know the guy that you're talking about specifically. I if you pointed him out to me, I'd probably know who he was. But
well, if I paint the picture, so you remember where Stan was last year? Like he was in the back row.
You're talking about the guy in the corner that had like a ton of like of like periodicals and magazines and pictures. Oh, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't buy anything from him, but I thumbed through his stuff, and so that's like really unique.
He had one of the big pickups, and I ended up selling it to Dom. Was the Tom Seaver 67 postcard that has it was like his alternative rookie card.
Okay.
And that guy had it, and so sorry, I'm getting text messages. But yeah, no, he had such cool stuff back there. Like team, dare I say it? If I say it 3 times, Mangini will appear. Oddball,
right?
Oddball regional, oddball issued stuff. That's what he had. So I mean. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that he would have something like a Red Sox team issued stuff for this upcoming show.
Yeah,
I do see Coach Neal was mentioning that Dexter Press did a lot of postcards and for several years because I got the '68 Aaron postcard, Dexter Press. So they put out a couple years of that. There it is.
I only said it once. Oh my God! It's like saying Candyman in the mirror 3 times and Candyman appears. Oh man! So listen, Jake, I want to give you time to show some stuff off, talk a little bit about your channel, talk about the podcast you do with Matt. I mean, I want to give you that chance to kind of unveil.
Well, if people aren't sick of me, I guess I will. I guess I'll do that. No, like the channel started. It was a little over 2 years ago at this point, and the whole reason for starting it was just to open wax. Like that was the whole thing. We were gonna open old packs, like whatever, like the third video I think I ever put up, or the second video I ever put up was opening a 74 Topps pack. So like I was gonna try to do that, and the thing was I started to get into collecting, and like seriously getting back into like collecting individual cards. When I was a kid, I collected with my dad, when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, like that era. And not only did I like to open packs back then, so this is like mid 90s or early to mid 90s, but I also like to collect the players that my dad would tell me about and that that he watched when he was a kid. And actually, I have a couple cards here that I just graded recently from my original collection, like that my dad and I put together back then. And this was like kind of always one of the centerpiece cards was this 50 Bowman Gil Hodges. My dad and I were the second ever owners of this card. We bought this from the original owner who, and the reason why I got a 1 is just because you can see that it was kind of pasted in the back of a book there. So, and I just sent this in like not that long ago. But second year technically Gil Hodges, just absolutely love this card. This was just a treasured collection piece always. So this is so as like a 6, 7-year-old kid, this was the kind of stuff that I loved. And so we collected a lot of that stuff. I kind of, I still love baseball and everything, and I played baseball all the way through high school, but like I got out of collecting cards probably when I was like 10 or so. And then a few years ago, just for fun, I started opening old wax again. And it was just like, it was fun. Like, oh yeah, I remember that guy and that kind of thing. And I started doing it on Instagram and people liked it. And I realized like, hey, there could be something here if we do this on YouTube. And then I started collecting, I wanted to get cards of guys that I didn't have their playing days cards in the old binder that my dad and I put together back in the 90s. And I got drawn to the 59 set, and I decided, well, why don't I just build the whole 59 set? And then that led to the whole 59 Topps Friday thing that my wife and I did for basically the better part of 2 years. And then it just led into other stuff, and all of a sudden, I had no intention of that. I remember specifically telling my friends when I was like ripping wax and stuff, I was like, I don't have space at my house. I don't want to spend the money on buying cards and stuff like that. And that lasted probably about probably 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden I was buying everything I could get my hands on that was interesting to me. So, yeah, the channel's evolved a lot. I started going back to card shows. Thanks, Ryan. I started going back to card shows, and the card shows. There was this guy Matt who sets up at every card show who is he has quite a personality, and folks met him at thanks, Sammy. Folks met him at the National, or if they've been around New England shows, they've met him, and he's very loquacious, I guess we could say. And he had the idea of, let's do like a regular show where we just talk about stuff, like we show pickups and then we kind of talk about what's going on in the hobby and like what's going on at shows. And Matt is brutally honest and very unfiltered, and I'm kind of like it's a great I'm kind of the straight man, and he's the he's the guy that makes everyone laugh and is, like I said, it doesn't have a filter, so it works really well. People have I think really liked it and responded well to that over the last couple of months, and we kind of do that. We've been trying to do that every other week, and yeah, so it's just been so fun to like get back into collecting, like do build sets and do player runs and like do and getting cards from way back. You guys saw at the National, I bought my first 1800s baseball card, and I'm trying to do kind of more of that, and just like getting players that are special to me or important to me for whatever reason. And then the channel taking off was never something I really expected, and getting to make friends and be friends with you guys and other folks that that I got to, a lot of people I got to meet in person for the first time at the National, and then my whole life feels like in a lot of ways revolves around this and our plans and schedules and stuff. It's like I'm 100% in at Strongsville next year. Can't wait for that. Looking forward to the National again also, and yeah, like these big shows are kind of the tent poles of the year, kind of like we just had Philly show, and like we were just talking about Shriners, like that's the next one, and that's going to be kind of the last one for the year, and then we'll go from there. So it's been an absolute blast, and I thank everybody that has watched our channel and supported us, and yeah, it means a lot. Some people are asking about the uncut sheets back here.
Yeah, so, I didn't want to distract you, but I'll bring it up. Mike,
so I don't have any other uncut sheets. So these were bought from a guy on Twitter who I wish I could remember his actual name. I want to say that his handle was something like @employee88. I think he was based in Connecticut, and he would always post these. Like he just had like a big trove of these. And they were in the long sort of original like boxes, I think, even. And he would post them on Twitter, and usually literally within seconds, every time he would post the lots for sale, they would get taken. And so I was watching one night because this is 90 Topps football, this one, and this is 92 Topps baseball. I really wanted I really cared more about the baseball one because 92 was the first year that I watched baseball, and the football one is awesome too. But that was the lot that they came in, was these two, and so I was quick to the draw whenever he posted that one, and I got them, and they're in top loaders. Like these are like I got these from BCW. Like these are uncut sheet top loaders, and they're just hung up with command strips. So I love these people. People love them. It's they come by and see it and they think it's awesome. And there's so many. There's like the football one is absolutely loaded. Like there's Joe Montana. There's Barry Sanders. That's Lawrence Taylor right there. Like there's Bo Jackson down here. Like it's just sometimes I just catch myself sitting here and just like marveling at it. The baseball one it's not quite as stacked, but there are some good ones.
So are they 40-inch sheets? They've got to be 40-inch sheets. Like they were those are actual sheets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's a big top loader.
Yeah.
Do they have like the marks on the bottom, like the color squares and the thing where you could see the printer marks that would actually be on them? Yeah.
Yeah, like this one says like there's side A right here, guide, grip, like
gripper, yeah, very cool.
Gripper, yeah, and then this one, it has the board A, it has the Topps logo on it. This one, like the baseball one, the very top of it has like the color marks, on the top side of it. So
I question if the guy who had so many of them, if he actually worked as a printer or in a shop that actually printed them, and then like
I'm not really sure.
I wouldn't know either. But I knew friends who had uncut sheets, and I had a lot of friends in the printing trade, and they were magically pulling them. I think they printed Flair in the '90s in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And so I got a couple buddies with Flair sheets. So.
Yeah. No, these are awesome. I love having these.
Very
so I wanted to ask. There's something unique about what you're doing with collecting, and you mentioned that you and Abby are together in on this, which is, like my wife doesn't really get involved in the collecting world aspect. She hears my stories and hears about the events and everything. But with you and Abby, you guys are both going to shows, both tackling the goals that you want to accomplish. So I want to know, like, what is Abby's role in all this?
So as far as the channel goes, she does a lot of the research for when we do sort of bigger projects. She has, we split the research for 59 Topps Friday. I would give her the names of players and she would do the research for half of them each week. She will do some stuff on social media, on like post stuff on Instagram from time to time. And I mentioned this during Hobby Palooza that she likes to collect cards of players with mustaches and interesting facial hair. So she has like a big stack of those. And but as far as the collecting goes, we definitely consider it our collection. And we kind of, I think like I think a lot of marriages, if you're making a big purchase, you need to decide on that together, and that happened at the National. I mean, we had a budget, but we agreed that certain big purchases, and so she but she loves the stuff. Like she loves the history too. She loves how passionate I am about it, and that it makes me happy. And so I think that is what brings her joy, and we definitely view the collection as something that we try to do together, and and it's something we try to enjoy together. I mean, we work a lot during the week, so like during the weekends, it's nice to kind of go and do things together sometimes, and go and travel together. Like that was a great thing at the National, was getting to go to Chicago together, and then we went to Philly together, and getting to experience those things is great. So.
Jake, did you get to see the city? Did you get to see Chicago at all outside of Rosemont, or were you guys pretty much tied to the show?
Yeah, this time we didn't. I've spent time in Chicago proper before. I've been to Wrigley Field and done those things. But what we did on this trip was actually we flew in a few days before, and we went up to Milwaukee for a few days. So, and we saw Brewers Cubs game up there.
It's a great park.
Yeah, it's an awesome park, and it was great atmosphere for them playing the Cubs. Like it was pretty electric.
Yeah, especially because Milwaukee's good. Typically, there's more Cub fans there than there are Brewers.
Yeah,
fans.
yeah. It was like half and half, really.
Yeah.
And it was like there was tension, definitely. And that game we went to, the Cubs were winning early, and then the Brewers came back and won, and so it was pretty interesting. And then we got to spend some time down in Milwaukee, kind of walking around, doing a few things, and then and then we drove back to Chicago. That was on Tuesday, and then the show started on Wednesday. So this trip we didn't end up getting out to. No, I didn't get a picture with the Bob Uecker statue. Unfortunately, I was just a bit outside of.
Just a bit outside.
Hey-o.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, but yeah, hopefully maybe next year we'll try to get out to more of the Chicago proper.
Milwaukee's a great city. I consider it, it's a smaller version of Chicago. It's on the lake, same lake, and they've got a lot of things that Chicago has to offer. So very cool city.
Yeah.
I was going to mention with Bob Uecker, I always think of Major League. I think it was Major League 2, when he's like everybody's really excited because the Indians had a great year, and all these no names came up and just did some great things. And it's like, what was it? Ricky Vaughn comes up with these new different pitches, and as soon as he tries to throw one of them, knocks out of the park, and you hear Uecker go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
The exasperator.
Harry Doyle.
Harry Doyle like switches the iced tea with Jack Daniels.
Right.
Great movie. Great movies.
He was he was a good player, and had his moment.
Yeah. Uecker was the man.
Speaking of players, I know you have some cards to show. You want to show some more stuff?
Sure. Like I mentioned, such a fun thing has been getting to get into some of the stuff that I never imagined that I would collect or buy or would ever have interest in. Like, I'll show these off. These were from the last Love of the Game auction. The two ones that I won were these two Japanese cards of Sadaharu O and Shigeo Nagashima. Those are 64 Morinaga stand-ups.
Wow.
And they're so clean. They're so clean. This one's a PSA 3, and this one's a PSA 2. And you see the backs. You can see where they are, where they were the stand-up back there. I guess these were candy issues, I believe. So it gives me an opportunity to obviously people know these names, but get an opportunity to kind of learn a little bit more about this history and. What these guys meant. And Nagashima passed away earlier this year, and he was an absolute superstar, just totally beloved in the country. And then Sadaharu, of course, the world home run king. So that's been cool stuff to get into. I feel like a lot of the stuff I have here is oversized stuff, which I know you guys love.
We love the oversized
My
stuff.
two, these are two, I guess you want to call them true rookies of guys from the 37 Gaudy wide pen set of Door and Feller.
Wow. The reason my language, Jake.
The reason why maybe that was subconsciously because I know Jason, this is his jam. The reason why I got this Feller, why I really wanted it, is because this picture was taken at Fenway Park. That is what used to be the green monster in the background. Before it was actually green, it was covered with ads. So I love this one. I love that image. I'm always been fascinated by the young Feller as a teenager coming up, Iowa farm boy, taking the world by storm. There was in 1936, the two most famous young people in the country were Shirley Temple and Bob Feller. And then Door, of course, as a big Red Sox collector. I think this picture was probably also taken at Fenway. Obviously the Gaudy company being based in Boston, probably. But kind of his true rookie. And then, of course, I got this. I bought this from Paul Borges, my Ted Williams exhibit. Love this.
Yes.
Love this one. Let me see what else I got here. Let me just grab a stack of stuff. Why not?
Mike is waiting for your Allen and Ginter.
Well, I can show. I'll show this was the big purchase from Philly Show. Was Mike Clarkson.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It was one of those moments where you see a card and you recognize it because I was following this exact card on eBay. The seller was Tom Botticelli was his name. He was set up and he had this up on his eBay store, and I had been following it for a few weeks. And I looked at the card. I got it out of I'm like, the card looks familiar. And I got it out and I looked at it. I'm like, do you have this up on eBay right now? He's like, yeah, I do. And so I got an awesome deal on this.
Awesome.
So thrilled with this. not a Red Sox obviously, but a Boston player nonetheless. And this is before the Red Sox existed.
Beautiful card.
Well, that checks the boxes for Abby because you said that she likes the mustache players.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. There's plenty of those in the 19th century, right? Like pretty much all of them are all guys with big mustaches. So, and the King. Not sure where the King Kelly is down here somewhere that I got at the National, but So the reason why that this is a 1.5 and you're not really going to be able to see it, I don't think, is just there's like these like specks of paper loss like right here and right here. And then on the back, there's like a little bit of paper loss up here, and then there's this dot. But I mean, yeah, this is the name of the game, right? Is to get the card that's in a 1.5 that looks like it's a 3 or a 4.
Back damage for the win. Damage for the win. That's how I look at it.
You can't give that secret away too much, otherwise prices are going to go up. They're going to start asking 3 prices for 1.5s.
Right.
None of us are. Yes, people. Yeah, there's always that concern, right? Yeah, I mean, another set that everyone loves is the Cracker Jack set, right? And like I have a few. But this one was just kind of randomly in the stack that I pulled out. I bought this card raw from Ash last year, and I ended up sending it in to get graded. This is my only 1914 Cracker Jack, and it is a Hugh Jennings Hall of Famer. It is most of a card. Just kind of missing a little bit of Hugh there.
You got the most important part.
That was exactly my thought. And obviously the 14s, they have the back is not upside down, but this is probably the only 14 I'll ever own. And it, like I said, I thought I got a really, that was what he used to say. I got a really good price on that from Ash.
You know which one I'm waiting for with the story attached to it as well. Your hands were shaking. Couldn't believe it.
Oh, let me keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah. You know that story, Jason?
No, I do not.
Oh man, I show up at the White Plains show. I think this was Saturday, either Saturday or Sunday. I go to Stan's table and he goes, "Hey, you won't believe, your YouTube buddy Jake came by the table and he bought this card for me and he was, I don't want to spoil it, but it was Stan loved the exchange because he was so." Yeah, go ahead.
So Stan, I'll just show people know, like if they've seen it, I've showed the card that you're talking about, Cracker Jacks. Like this is my 1915 Smokey Joe Wood in a 1.
Yeah.
And this has been a dream card of mine pretty much since I was a kid, since I kind of learned who Smokey Joe Wood was as a kid, as a Red Sox fan. And knowing his story, and this is just one of the, really for like the non-Hall of Famers, this is one of the more iconic cards in the set. And I had told Stan a couple times that I'm like, hey, if you ever get a Smokey Joe Wood, hey Greg, if you ever get a Cracker Jack Smokey Joe, I'm interested. And he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to be, this was like last year Shriners. And actually it may have even been at the January White Plains. He was like, I have a bunch of ones that I'm sending into PSA. So I think there is a Smokey Joe in there. So, but you have to, come back and maybe we'll figure something out. So the week before the March White Plains show, the March Madness show, Stan was actually set up at a show in Chicago, and he had posted on Instagram one picture of his showcase, and I noticed that he had this card. He had a Smokey Joe Cracker Jack in there, and I said, so I emailed him, and I didn't hear back. I think it may have gotten caught in the spam or something like that. And because what I couldn't tell was A, I couldn't tell if it was a 14 or 15, and B, I couldn't tell what grade it was. So I was like, all right, I kind of was planning on going to the show anyway, but like my goal was like, I gotta at least see what that card is. And if it's not the right thing, I'm sure I'll find other stuff to buy, whatever. So I show up, I got there before, I paid the extra money to get in a little bit early, and I go right to Stan's table and I see it. And the perfect thing is that it's a 1 and it's a 1915. So I'm like, all right. So I look at what he had for the price on it, and I asked him if he'd come down a little bit, and he was willing to. But I had I brought cards to sell potentially, but then also I had whatever cash I had, and I was like, all right, well, you know, and so I showed him the cards I had. I'm like, can we work on out a trade, like whatever? And he's like, it was a lot of like more post-war stuff, like some Hall of Fame rookies and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, I'm not really interested in this stuff right now, but like, you know, if you want to like go around the show, I'm sure you'll find somebody to buy it, whatever. So I go right across from where Stan is, right over to Brian Roth. And I say, Brian, like, I have an opportunity to buy this card, this dream card of mine, but you know, I could go over to the ATM and get the cash out, but that wasn't really my plan today. Like, I've got a bunch of cards here. Like, are you interested in buying today? So the long and short of it is I bought, I sold like 5 or 6 cards to Brian. I got the cash from him. I went right back over to Stan's table and I bought this card. And yeah, I was like, because this card means so much to me, like I was like shaking as I was like putting the bills out and stuff. And Stan was like, it's okay. Like, it's yours. Like, don't worry about it. But Stan loved it. And I made a friend forever with Stan with this one. And yeah, this card is just absolutely perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So this is a centerpiece card in my collection, and yeah, I still look at it sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe I own this.
That's phenomenal.
So yeah, that's my Cracker Jack story.
That was, yeah. It was. I show up at the White Plains show, and he tells me, like, I go to his table, and he the first thing he tells me was that exchange. And I was just like, man, he was so enamored by that story. And I think whenever he gets the chance, he always likes to share it, because who doesn't love a good true hobby collector story like that?
Exactly. Yeah. And shout out to B Roth, of course, too. That was
right.
Yeah, man.
He helped. Like, I probably could have sold those cards. I'm sure it was like I had like a K-Line rookie and a like a Raleigh Fingers rookie that was in good grade, and like actually a T206 Trispeaker and a few other cards. And I was just like, I'm sure I could have sold them off to someone else, but selling them to Brian was great.
That's all. All the cards you had mentioned, those were very desirable cards.
Right. Yeah.
And the other thing is that, like, all those cards you named, you can always find again.
Exactly.
Like you could probably find the Joe Wood too, but like the one that you have in a low grade like that is insanely that in itself is difficult.
Stan I did notice at Stan's table this time at Philly, he did have another one of these, but I think it was a 3. Mm-hmm. So who knows? And so somebody else would have bought this card at that show. I'm shocked that he didn't sell it at the Chicago show. But maybe because it was maybe closer to Boston, he probably expected he was going to sell it at White Plains. Somebody else would have bought this card at that show.
You ever stop to think? I don't know if you keep track of this. I know there's like some people who keep really good track of spreadsheets. Like another Jake for Legends Never Die, he always keeps like his spreadsheet system is massive. So I'm wondering, do you keep track of how often you're buying from certain dealers? Do you like say, I bought this from so and so in a spreadsheet, or do you just keep a mental memory of that?
I don't. So on the question of do I keep track of who I buy the cards from? No, I don't. I think if it's a memorable enough interaction, or if I buy it at a show, like I probably will remember who I bought it from. I do keep track of all of my slabs in a spreadsheet and how much I paid for them and the grade and the serial number and all that stuff. I do that for security reasons and for insurance purposes. And just obviously also keeping track of like the cost basis for another day potentially. But yeah, no, I don't keep track of who I actually buy the cards from. It's usually just up here.
I always find, because I think it's just a gravitation at some point, because I go through my collection and I'm like, all right, I bought that from Chapel, bought that from Chapel, bought that from Chapel, and it seems like there's certain of the people here in the community will gravitate to a particular dealer. Like, I think I don't know, maybe it's not safe for me to say, but I would think it's safe to say that Greg gravitates a lot towards Ash, because I know he's purchased a lot from Ash, and I think he's also kind of helped Ash as well, and being able to kind of send collectors his way. But I don't know. Do you feel as though there's certain dealers that you kind of gravitate more to than others? Not playing favorites, but just.
Well, there's one dealer that I talk to just about every day, and I'm on a show
So
with
it's
him.
gotta
So
be
yeah,
Matt from Providence.
yeah. That's interesting you say that. I don't know. Like it's just to me, there are obviously certain dealers that that have cards that every time that they're set up at a show, you're going to want to go and see what they have. But I wouldn't necessarily say that there's like a connection or whatever. I think that Chapel's another one that like I've been really fortunate now, like at Philly show and at National finally get to be at a show where you set up as he doesn't come up to White Plains or Shriners.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't. I would just say that we all know who the big vintage dealers are, and I think that we try to. I try to make sure that I always look at what they have, but I wouldn't say it's like a connection necessarily.
I gotcha.
I gravitate. Chapel's my guy. I gravitate. I buy from him every time I see him. Almost
because he's got the national chickle and the Butterfingers.
Oh, not even beyond that. He's at all the local shows, right? He's out of Indiana, so I was buying off of him before I even had a channel. So before I even knew who he was. So
you know who's going to be the go-to guy in the future, and I keep mentioning it's Garrett. Ballpark Memories. Yeah. Mookie. So similar to your story, Jake. Mookie had a similar experience. Because last day at Strongsville, I think you know the story. But
I know the story, about the satchel.
Yeah, I was behind you guys.
Man. He had to. He had a sale orchestrated with Garrett, and he needed the funds to get the. To get the satchel, and so
it was a satchel with the pinhole. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a 7 with a pinhole in it. If we
right.
And so he beelined over to Garrett's table and was like, "Hey, is that can we still make that deal?" And Garrett was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Got the cash and kind of went right back over to Chapel's table. So it's just so funny how there's so many similar overlapping stories like that.
Yeah, that's like very similar to what happened for me. To get my Smokey Joe.
I don't know if Mookie was shaking, but
I was shaking, man. It was. I don't think that's the only time I feel like that's ever happened to me at like buying it, like because I've been lucky. Like I bought some, I bought some dream cards, especially in the last year. But getting like the way that it all came together for where like I drove like that was like a 3-hour drive to get to White Plains, and then like the car. Exactly the year and exactly the grade, and it was like the best price I could get, and like there was drama to it because I had to sell the car. I had to find somebody to sell it to. I sold it to Brian, and he hadn't sold thankfully he still had the Smokey Joe at his table, and like it was just the way it all like happened. And then like putting out the bills and stuff, I was like, I can't believe that this is happening. And I think the only other thing I bought that day was I bought like some wax. I didn't buy any other cards that day.
Well, I think you bought my Bob Cousy card.
That was a different. That was the January.
Not Bob Cousy. Okay, it was a different White Plains show. But was it the Bob? You bought the Sam Jones, but you also bought the Bob
Sam Jones.
Yeah, that's right.
I bought both of those from you. Yeah, I finished. That was another fun thing I did this year was finishing the 61 Fleer Celtics run. Like I got all of those.
Great set.
You already answered this, I think, but you are.
I will be at Strongsville, Orlando, and I can't wait. And I look forward to seeing you there, my friend.
You booked the hotel and everything?
Booked the hotel. Yeah. It's just I'm flying solo for this one.
Oh,
I told Abby that and then Dan, when I saw Dan over the weekend too, he kind of agreed. He's like, it's probably for the best. It seems like more of a boys' weekend. And she was fine with that.
Yeah. Jay brought his wife last year. It was his first Strongsville.
Who did?
Collector. Jay, average vintage collector.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He brought his wife. He was shaking. It's pure. And you know what? It's as pure as it comes. It's adrenaline, right? It's just pure adrenaline. So he was there, and I had met him for the first time on the floor, and he's like, "Look at what I got!" And he's taking things out, and he's shaking. And I looked at his wife. I'm like, "You got to settle him down a little bit. Tell him to take it easy." I'm like, "It's all right. We're just buying cards."
Listen, man, I don't think it compares anything to Steven with a PH. When at the first Strongsville event that he went to, he literally came up to me kind of like a maniacal laugh, but And I know he's here still, but a maniacal laugh with such love and passion. And he was like, "This is so awesome."
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Steven's the man.
Oh,
Love you,
yeah.
Steven. Oh
Yeah,
man, had some great conversations with him at the National. Yeah, no, this is what it's all about, right? Like this is the closest that we get to act like kids, you know. And that's like the most exciting part about it is like this is us getting to relive our childhood to a certain extent, like every time we get a big card. And so it's thrilling to get to do this.
Absolutely. And my wife made an appearance. She just got back into the room, guys. Sorry.
I miss us every day.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told her. I said everyone's gonna say hi to Mrs. Everyday Card Collector.
Well, it's
No, it's fine.
well, I want to kind of since we're going to be wrapping up, I want to kind of give you the last few minutes if you want to share anything special that's coming up on your channel or anything at all.
Yeah, like, you know, like I said, check out, like, we did a new episode of the Hit List this week. So we'll probably do one not next week, but the week after. Yeah, you know, I feel like from a collecting standpoint, I feel like I'm maybe a little bit in savings mode before Shriners, so there might not be anything too big coming up there. I have been teasing for a while, like a project that like a new narrative project, and we're gonna do. My wife and I are gonna work on that. I've been kind of dragging my feet on getting started because like it's I don't want to say what it is, but it will need to happen next month, or else it's not going to make a lot of sense to wait longer than that. So I kind of have to, you know, I love writing. Like that's my, you know, it's my favorite thing. You know, one of my favorite things besides cards. So like writing the 59 Tops Friday stuff, like I have a Word document or I have a Google Doc that has the entire 59 Tops Friday narrative in it. And that was like however many videos that we did, like had to be like 100. And I'm going to check and see right now how many words are in this document. There are 145,000 words in this document, 263 pages. I mean, it was over 2 years worth of work.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be that long. It's only going to maybe be 6 or 7 episodes of what we're going to do, but I'm excited about it if I can pull it off. I'm not positive exactly how I'm going to pull it off yet, but stay tuned for that. That'll happen in October. Yeah, just gonna as another YouTuber says, just keep collecting. That's what I'm gonna do.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on tonight. Appreciate everybody in the chat chiming in, participating, enjoying. Jason, win a lot of money tomorrow.
Yes, good luck, Jason.
I hope so. Thank you, boys. I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, everybody, hope everybody has a good start to their weekend. Let us know if you go to any card shows. See what you can find. I'll be going to the Brooklyn show on Saturday where Dan is setting up, Brian's setting up. So it should be a lot of fun. And so I hope you guys have a good rest of your start to your weekend. We will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
See you, everyone.